Good day everyone, especially to you sir, and good day. By the way, I am Eugene Kabati from Mangus Lugong, Misamis Oriental, second year criminal student. So today, I would like to report my I want I would like to report. So my topic is all about nationalism and patriotism. So uh, basic concept of nationalism and patriotism. So nationalism is an ideology and movement defined by promoting the interest of a particular nation. So in a particular, with the aim of acquiring and maintaining the nation's sovereignty over its country of origin. So, nationalism claims that each nation should regulate itself free from outside bases, and that the nation is the only legitimate source of political authority. So, it is also aimed to build and maintain a single national identity based on shared and social characteristics such as culture, language, religions, politics, and belief in a distinct shared history, and to promote a national unity or solidarity. So, nationalism therefore seeks to preserve and encourage a nation's traditional culture, and cultural revivals have been connected to nationalist movement. So, it is also fosters pride in domestic accomplishments, and it is strongly associated with patriotism. So, nationalism is often paired with other ideologies, for instance, conservatism or socialism. So, it is a type of nationalism. Nationalism can be expressed along civil, ethnic, cultural, religious, or ideological lines. So, this self-definition of countries are used to classify distinct kinds of nationalism, although these categories are not mutually exclusive, and many nationalist movements combine to differing degrees some or all of these components. First of types of nationalism is ethnic nationalism or ethno-nationalism. So, the country is described from prior generations in terms of intensity, ethnicity, and descent. It also involves the concept of a shared culture among groups members, and generally a shared language. The nation's members is hereditary. The state derives political legitimacy from its status as the ethnic group's homeland, and from the obligation to safeguard the partially domestic group, and as a group of promote its family and social life. So, in contrast to Western opinions of a country defined by its geographic territory, theorist Anthony D. Smith utilizes the word ethnic nationalism for non-Western nations of nationalism. So, the word ethno-nationalism is usually used only in relation to nationalists who support an explicit ideology along these lines. So, the more generic word is ethnic nationalism and is is used by nationalists who hold such views in an informal, um, instinctive, or unsystematic manner. So, the pejorative type of both is ethnocentric nationalism or tribal nationalism, although tribal. So, nationalism may have a non-pejorative significance when debating African, Native African, or Native American or other nationalism that public claim tribal identity. The second type is civic nationalism or civil nationalism. The state derives political legitimacy from its citizen active involved, and the extent to which it reflects and will of the individual. Civic nationalism lies within the traditions of rationalism and liberalism, but it is contrasted with ethnic nationalism as a type of nationalism. So, civic nation membership is regarded to be voluntary. The growth of representative democracy in relations such as the United States and France was effective by civil and national values. So, state nationalism, often coupled with ethnic nationalism, is a version of civic nationalism. It means that the country, the community of those who contribute to the state's maintenance and strength. So, and that there is the person to contribute to the object. The country is supposed to be a community of those who contribute to the state's maintenance and strength, and the person exists expressly in the society to contribute to that object. So this often results in fascism, generally characterized by authoritarianism and nationalism. Fascism is a political ideology. The third is um, expansionist nationalism, a radical form of imperialism that includes independent patriotic feelings with the faith and expansionism generally through military aggression. So, the word was coined in the late 19th century as European powers indulged in the scramble for Africa in the name of domestic glory. So, but was most closely linked with militarist governments in the 20th century. So, including fascist Italy, Nazi Germany, the Japanese Empire, and the Balkan nation of Albania, or the Great Albania, Bulgaria, or the Greater Bulgaria, Croatia, or the Greater Croatia, or Hungary. So, nations are not believed to the equivalent to the right to self-determination. Some countries are believed to possess features or qualities that make them superior to others. So, therefore, expansionist nationalism argues to the right to the state to expand its boundaries or at the cost of its neighbors. So, number 4 is romantic nationalism. So, it is the otherwise known as the organic nationalism, and identify nationalism. So it is the form of ethnic nationalism which is the state derives political legitimacy as a result, um, an expression of the nation's natural. It is based on the presence of a historical ethnic mm, ethnic culture that meets the romantic ideal. So fifth is cultural naturalism. So the country is described by the culture, not solely civic or ethnic. So Chinese nationalism is an instance of cultural nationalism. So partially due to China's many national minorities or membership in the nation, neither completely voluntary nor hereditary. So the sixth is third world nationalism. Nationalist feelings are the outcome of opposition to colonial rule to survive and maintain a domestic identity. So seven is uh, liberal nationalism. So it is a kind of nationalism lately defended by political philosophers who think that a non xenophobic form of nationalism compatible with liberal values of liberty, tolerance, equality, and individual rights can access. So it is asserted that in order to lead meaningful, independent life, people need to national identity. So, and those liberal democracies need domestic identity to work correctly. So, next is religious nationalism. So, nationalism connection to a specific religious faith, church, or affiliation. So, it can be seen that as shared religion contributes to sense of domestic unity, and a mutual bond between the nations of people. So this connection can be divided into two dimensions religions. So politicization and religions converse affects the politics. So next is pan-nationalism. So ethnic or cultural nationalism refers to a country that is itself a cluster for associated ethnic and cultural communities. So 10 is diaspora nationalism. So diaspora in an ethnic population residing outside their traditional homelands. In this type of nationalism, there is a national sense, or the Irish in the United States, Jews in the United States, and elsewhere. So, number 11 is stateless nationalism. So, on nationalist basis, an ethnic or cultural minority within a nation state aims independence. 12 is national conservatism. So, a political term mainly used in Europe to describe a version of conservatism that focuses more on domestic interest, that conventional conservation, while not being an unduly nationalist or pursuing a far-right agenda. So, 13 is revolutionary nationalism. Revolutionary nationalism is an ideological theory that calls a domestic group united by a shared sense of intent and destiny, also known as radical nationalism. So, it was first ascribed and strongly promulgated by Benito Mussolini to followers of revolutionary syndicalism in France and Italy. That start of the 20th century, this intellectual synthesis of radical nationalism and descendant society was created. So, 14 is left-wing nationalism. Left-wing nationalism also sometimes referred to as socialist nationalism. It relates a political movement combining left-wing or socialism with nationalism. So next is patriotism. So patriotism or national pride is a sense of love, dedication, and attachment to a country and alliance with other people who share the same impression. So this attachment can be mixture of many distinct emotions, including ethnic, cultural, political, or historical elements. So, including ethnic elements related to one's own countries. So, it is a predominant virtual link to a nation's love with greater emphasis on values and beliefs. So, these are kinds of patriotism. So, first is patriotism of duty. This includes identified to one's nation through material acts. So, second is patriotism of affection. So, this is the patriotism of the heart. It is about one's internal desire to his country's well-being. So, third is patriotism of manners. So this is costumes, patriotism, written and unwritten. The patriotism of manners is to place one's and over the heart during the national anthem. So there are types of patriotism. So personal patriotism. So it is emotional and voluntary. The patriot adheres to certain patriotic values, such as respect for the flag or the honoring of veterans. Other expressions of personal patriotism including enlisting in the army, public service and participation in the political process through voting or the other forms of activism. Second is official patriotism promoted by the government, which has a high symbolic and ceremonial content. So it is a logical consequences of the state itself, which derives legitimacy from being the expression of the common good of the political community. So third is symbolic patriotism. So in wartime is intended to raise morally, in turn contributing to the war effort. So fourth is peacetime patriotism. Cannot be easily linked to measurable gain from the state, but the patriot does not see as an inferior. So there's also difference between patriotism and nationalism. While the terms patriotism and nationalism were once regarded as synonyms, distinct con- connotations were assumed, while both are people's feelings and affections for their nations and values on which they are based very distinct. So, patriotism feelings are based on the country positive values. So, like liberty, justice, and equality. And the patriot thinks that both their countries, state system, and individuals are inherently good and working um, together together to achieve a better quality of life. So, on the other hand, nationalism emotions are based on the belief that wants nation to superior to all others. So that's all. Thank you.